Joining us right now, Democratic Congressman Mark Veasey of Texas. Congressman, thanks for being here.
Kate.
Al Green, a fellow Texan, filing articles of impeachment. He says it's not about obstruction of justice, it's about racism. And he says he expects a vote in the House today. Is that going to happen?
It's unsure whether that's going to happen or not. I believe that under House rules, of course, he can bring certain, privileged motions to the House floor. But what I will tell you is that there have been lots of different presidents over the course of history that have been racist. I mean, you think about Dwight Eisenhower. Literally, when he brought Chief Justice Warren to the White House during Brown versus the Board of Education, and told Justice Warren later in the evening that Southerners were typically good people. They just didn't want their daughters sitting next to black in classrooms. So, racism in the White House is nothing new. The question
you say it's no reason to impeach a president?
I'm saying that it's not new. It's been around a long time. We've had lots of racist presidents. I think that members of Congress want to know if this president obstructed justice. And of course, we're going to have Mueller here soon to be able to answer those questions.
Are you going to, if this comes for a vote, are you going to vote for it?
If this comes for a vote, obviously I'm going to, have to weigh all of my votes like I do right before I get onto the House floor. I look at all the facts and make a decision, and we'll do so at that time.
But broadly speaking, I'm getting a sense from you that you don't think this is the right time to be voting on impeaching the president?
I do not think that this is the right time to be voting on impeaching the president. We have a process. We want to make sure that this is not seen as political. If it's seen as political, it's going to backfire, and it's only going to favor President Trump. And we don't want that right now. We need this guy out of office come January the 20th, 2021. This does not need to be seen as a political process. We need to listen to what Mueller has to say next week and move forward from there.
Congressman, you're on the whip team. Are you going to be whipping against this since you don't think this is the right time?
I'm on the whip team, and so, again, I haven't gotten any instructions from our chief whip, our head whip, Jim Clyburn. As soon as I get instructions from his office on whatever we're working on, I'm going to be happy to whip for it, whether it's this or another piece of legislation that we're working on.
But are you still considering whether or not, because, look, if you're asked to vote on this, you're faced with a real question. You're going to be, right. You would be forced to be on the record on impeaching the president on the grounds of, well, Al Green says it's on the grounds of his racist remarks. Which side of this are you going to be on if that's what you're faced with tonight?
Again, we'll see how, you never know how something is going to be worked once it actually makes it to the House floor. I've not had an opportunity to read anything that Representative Green has put into writing. Of course, him being a fellow Texan, whatever he does submit, I know that he's taken it very seriously and that he's put a lot of thought into it. And I'll read it and I'll go through it and I'll make my decision when we come onto the House floor.
On the president's attacks and the impact that they are really having, my colleague Randy Kaye sat down with 8 Republican women in Dallas. Part of Dallas is your district yesterday.
Absolutely.
They told her that they don't see anything wrong with what the president said about the 4 Democratic congresswomen. Let me play you some of this, please.
He was saying that if they hate America so much, because what we're seeing out of them and hearing out of them, they hate America. If it's so bad, there's a lot of places they can go.
I'm a brown-skinned woman. I am a legal immigrant. I agree with him.
You don't think that's racist to say that?
Not at all.
No,
actually, I think it's it's a demonstration of how their ideology spills over. Even though they're American now, so to speak, they're not acting American.
Look, Congressman, I don't know if these are votes that are ever gettable for a Democrat and that group of Republican women that were sitting there, but they're not being convinced by what Democrats are saying on this. What does that mean for Democrats heading into your reelection?
Oh, look, I actually had an opportunity to watch that entire segment this morning. And I will tell you that first of all, didn't surprise me at all. I mean, that's the story of my life as a black person growing up in Fort Worth, Texas, not too far from Dallas, where those women live. Oftentimes, because people forget, I mean, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm in my 40s. Gen Xers, we were the first generation of kids to go K through 12 in the Dallas Independent School District. Worth Independent School District, which I went through, we were the first kids to actually go through that school system completely integrated, K through 12. And oftentimes in school, kids would use the N-word over and over again, and they would always say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You're just overreacting. You're being too sensitive. You guys call each other that all the time anyway. And so the fact that those women are basically repeating what I heard in school is not that big of a surprise to me, first of all. I mean, that's actually a pretty normal thought amongst a lot of white people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't want to generalize everybody, but for a lot of people, you would hear that at any social setting. So do we have a very tough battle to win back the White House? It's always tough to beat an incumbent. But what I will tell you is that if you look at the 2018 election results and you look at how we're doing in some of these battleground states right now that are going to be key to us getting those 270 electoral votes that I think that we're going to need in order to win back the White House. I think that we're going to have a good candidate that's going to have a good unifying message to beat Donald Trump. And I can tell you, I know that CNN likes to focus on a lot of the things that activists and what have you are saying out there and things that you guys hear on Twitter. But if you come to Fort Worth, Texas, or you go to Dallas or Irving, Texas, other cities that I represent in the 33rd Congressional District, the average guy that's putting seats in a car at General Motors plant over in Arlington or a woman working at a cafe in the Metroplex, they will tell you that they just want this guy gone. And we have that working at our advantage, and we're going to make full use of it.
Well, first and foremost, there's an opportunity to move that process along. Maybe today. Let's see what happens in the House if the vote does happen with articles of impeachment. Congress